My name is Jesse Betcher, and I just want to take a few minutes to discuss a literary masterpiece.
Of course, I'm being sarcastic. The Fort Bragg Cartel, written by journalist Seth Harp, is poorly researched, poorly sourced, and poorly written. In fact, it's so bad that the publisher has ordered several portions to be rewritten for clarity and accuracy.
Because I got my facts buttoned up. There's only so much that they can criticize, and I do hear some criticism from some operator style podcasts from time to time. But I try to get in touch with those guys and say, hey, can you name one fact I got wrong in the book?
Bro, it would literally take me days to list all of the facts that you got wrong in the book. By substituting correlation for causation, that does not prove anything. Maybe you could start with looking up the definition of the word assassination, which you use, I think, dozens of times in the book, and you don't even know what that word means. Anyway, I'm going to cover a few facts that you got way wrong here in a minute.
All right, so I don't know all of the changes that the author was forced to make. I know there were some outrageous claims about the origins of COVID that have been changed or omitted, but I just want to discuss a number of changes that were made in pages 63 through 66 in chapter 5. So before I show you those poorly written pages, I would like to say that I have had my lawyers contact Mr. Harp and also Random House Publishers. Okay, here we are, chapter 5. We're at the bottom of page 63, and this is the first time we're introduced to this new character in the book, this mysterious former Delta Force Sergeant Major who served in Iraq during the surge. This individual is not mentioned in the citations anywhere in the endnotes. There's no reference at all to him. He just kind of was like inserted. And so this is going to be, this has already been changed. This is the first change. Yeah, it's now going to read, said a former Delta Force Sergeant Major who served in Iraq during the surge and spoke to me on condition that he not be identified by name. And then thereafter, he will be referred to as the anonymous Sergeant Major or the unnamed Sergeant Major. Uh, Honestly, I don't think this guy even exists. Okay, now I'm going to show you some of pages 64 and 65 where the author mentions me by name 8 times. So, and it goes back years. So I don't understand the infatuation that this guy has with me. I am flattered, Mr. Harp, but I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
Okay, so the previous page, he introduced a new character, the former Delta Force Sergeant Major. Now we come here to page 64, where he mentions me, um, Jesse Betcher, a former Delta Force Sergeant Major. Then he quotes from one of my posts from 2022, and then he describes the photo, which was a very innocuous photo, just sitting kind of in an office with a whiteboard behind me. I'm not going to show all the pictures and everything, and for brevity. Then he quotes another one of my photos, and he uses a phrase, a quote from my post where I described the team as straight up pipe hitters. Betcher wrote using an obscure term. Um, and he's saying that the term pipe hitters derives from the concept of a soldier who is so fearless, daring, and addicted to war that he can be likened to a smoker of crack cocaine. So it sounds like he's just trying any way he can to somehow link me to criminal activity, to drug activity, to war crimes, and whatever. But unfortunately for him, he's got the wrong guy. I got a pretty clean record. I don't do drugs. I'm not an assassin or a murderer. So then he goes into two other photos, and he says Betcher says two pictures that he posted. I know I posted one of the photos that he's describing, but I don't think I posted the other one. A teammate of mine I know posted it, and that's the one that he was referencing. I'm in the photo, and my teammate is dressed up, in some female Iraqi attire. I'm not sure if he's what the angle is here, if he's saying that trying to somehow shame cross-dressers, or where he's going with this, but he's saying that we were carrying out hits and drags. And actually, I'm going to need to show you the one photo because that he describes as with a burly bearded operator in a sequin dress and rhinestone hijab carries a sledgehammer over her shoulder. So I just want to show you that one real quick. Okay, so this is the photo Mr. Harp was just describing where we were carrying out hits in drag. So I don't know, let's take a look at this photo. Let's see up at the top here, it's titled Christmas Card, JPEG. This was from in December of 2003, right before Christmas, and you can see about 13 guys. Back down here it's called Alibaba and the 12 Thieves. So I guess Alibaba plus 12. I don't know which one is Alibaba. Here you have the burly dude. This guy's probably 155 pounds, so I don't know if that's burly. Was actually the smallest guy in the photo, I think, by height and weight. So anyway, maybe not the best description, but yeah, I think that is a sequin dress. If I remember, it was kind of a greenish color. So I don't know. What do you think is going on here? You think we're getting ready to go out and do a hit, do a drug-fueled assassination, maybe? The answer is no. Could it be cultural appropriation? That is also no. It's just a Christmas card, guys. Calm down. While I'm at it, I'll just show you this other photo. Okay, here's that photo. Again, I don't think that I posted this. I may have, but the one that he referenced, from the book, and he cited in the endnotes was from this guy here, a teammate of mine who posted this photo. And, I don't know. Maybe this guy right here identifies as an affluent Iraqi lady. So I don't know if we should be shaming anybody and putting down cross-dressers or drag queens or whatever else Mr. Harp wants to call them. So I do know this was not 2003. This is later because I'm carrying a 416 there, it looks like. But I think what bothered me and some of the other readers was his opinion that this guy here has an evil little smirk that exudes pure murder. I don't know about that. He's a pretty nice guy. Okay, then he goes on and continues mentioning me. It says Betcher did 3 rotations to Iraq during the surge. He seems to know a lot about me. And when questioned about that, he said that he claimed that he was able to FOIA my ERB. So that's a Freedom of Information Act to get what he claims is a publicly available document of my enlisted records brief. So I'm like, when is a surge? So I had to type it in here. When was the Iraq surge? And it comes back January 2007. The actual dates are January of 2007 to July of 2008. So here's a problem, Mr. Harp. If you do in fact have my ERB as you claim, you would see on there that I have 9 deployments to Iraq. I was there a lot in 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, and a little bit in 2009. But I did not set foot in the country of Iraq at all, not one time, in all of 2007 or in 2008. So another fact that is proved to be inaccurate in your book. Okay, here's another one that was, an unsettling opinion of the author that we were apparently terrorizing the Iraqi populace. So, I'm someone who's spent the majority of my adult life combating, encountering terrorists, and now the author feels that he wants to refer to me as a terrorist. So, okay, this quote right here, I just need to take a second to talk about this, and I'm going to show this picture because it's just 7 words, a 7-word quote that is completely taken out of context. So let's take a look at that one now. Okay, here we have the actual Instagram post, and this one is still up. I haven't deleted this one. It was posted in September of 2022, and you can see it. I'm talking about the invasion in Iraq. That's when this picture was taken. It was taken on or about April 9th of 2003, We had just received some care packages, and so that's what my post is about. It's about being grateful, accepting gifts, and I do mention the quote right here: caffeine, nicotine, and rage kept us fueled. The Gatorade was a bonus. So I mention that because if you look down here, we got a little bit of nicotine over here, a little bit of caffeine. Up here, we got a little bit of rage, and then we got a Gatorade bottle. So uh, to take just those 7 words out of this entire post and use that to somehow, you know, to convince the readers that Jesse Betcher is some sort of drug fueled, you know, killing machine, I believe that was at best disingenuous. Also, uh, April of 2003, General McChrystal was not in command, so it's irrelevant based on the time frame as well to use this a quote from this photo and describing this situation.
I know that he said many times on he's done a ton of podcasts since this book was released a couple months ago, and oftentimes he said in the podcast, I reached out to every single special operator mentioned in the book. Um, really?
Give you a chance to address that just to get it on the record.
Sure. That's just not true. We contacted everyone who's named in the book or made an attempt to contact them. If they're named, we made an attempt to contact them. And all of the allegations that we make about the unit, what we make about Delta Force, about the Special Forces, all of that has gone to the Special Forces Command with an opportunity.
Really? Because I'll assure you, nobody reached out to me, not Mr. Harp, and nobody from his team, nobody from the publisher. And I'm not hard to find, right? I have a public Instagram account, public LinkedIn account. I was an elected official for a number of years back in Wisconsin, where my information had to be provided openly and publicly, including my email address and phone number. During years that he was researching and writing this book, 2022, 2023, when he was capturing all my Instagram, and that's another thing. So he was obviously going to my Instagram account to capture those four photos from 2022. So he could have slid into my DMs, and I assure you, Mr. Harp, I would have given you a quote. Not sure if you could use it in the book, but I would have given you a quote.
Okay, so here's a really good example of the poor writing style that Mr. Seth Harp uses. So he quotes me, says Betcher wrote, and then immediately with no transition, the next sentence is harder stuff helped too. So what does that mean? Is that his opinion that harder stuff than caffeine or nicotine helps? Is he basing that on his own experience? Um, because I don't know. And then he goes into quoting, actually using quote marks, saying recalled the retired sergeant major. So he's already identified me as a retired sergeant major, and also this other guy from 2 pages back at the back of bottom of page 63. So he mentioned the other guy on page 63, then mentions my name 8 times and goes right into quoting another retired sergeant major, or the retired sergeant major. So it looks like to anybody with basic elementary reading comprehension that he is in fact talking about me. And this is where the problems ensued, because I didn't say any of this. I surely didn't talk about how Delta operators lack morale, or they're passive, or they need to take amphetamines to suppress empathy. He didn't have a credible source, if he had one at all. Right here again, said the retired sergeant major. But this right here, so this line right here is the reason why I felt it necessary to actually contact my lawyers. And because, again, it looks like he's talking about me, the retired sergeant major, now in his 50s. So back on page 65, he identified me in one of my photos, inaccurately, I might add, as being in my mid 30s. He was claiming it was during the surge, which I wasn't there during the surge. And that photo was taken in December of 2003 when I was in my very early 30s. So this quote right here, now in his 50s, still takes prescription amphetamine, says, I'm on Dex right now, he said, 10 milligrams for ADHD. I do not have, nor have I ever been diagnosed with ADHD. I've never taken, I'm not on any prescription medication, let alone amphetamines. I take zero prescription medications. So the way it was written, it looked like it was about me. This has all been changed in the audiobook, the ebook, and any future printings of the book.
Okay, so just wanted to read a little bit more of the response from Mr. Harp when my lawyers contacted him. He said your client's complaint is based on a fundamental misapprehension or failure of reading comprehension. None of the quotations you cite in your letter were attributed to Mr. Betcher. All of them were attributed to another man, a different Delta Force veteran who doesn't even share the same rank as your client. No reasonable person could read my book and think that those quotations were his. Well, a lot of people read those quotations and thought that they were talking about me because I had a number of people reach out to me. People reach out to my wife. They thought I was had ADHD and was taking prescription amphetamines because of your book. He says it wasn't his intent to impugn me, my character, or make me look bad. Rather, he was only describing that material which was directly relevant to the discussion in chapter 5 of his book, which was about the military tactics that Delta Force used in Iraq under the leadership of General Stanley McChrystal. So, as I said, my photos and his quotes, and he was trying to tie me to a different time period and, activities that I absolutely never partook in or witnessed. So, uh, thanks for watching. I'll just leave you with one more photo before I go.
Okay, here we have a picture of a young Private Harp. He actually served in, I don't know if it's the National Guard or the Army Reserves. And I understand he actually did a rotation to Iraq sometime, I think maybe 04, 05. I don't know for sure because I did not FOIA his ERB because I really I really don't care that much about him. But I will say thank you for your service, Mr. Harp. My my concern is that, with this evil little smirk right here, I just hope that you were never, accused of being on a amphetamine fueled killing spree during your time in Iraq. All right then. Thanks for watching.